Hi guys, welcome back to my Wentworth Season 10 videos. Today I'm going to be talking about what Episode 2 would be like. Episode 2 is called Assassination. So, if you remember the last episode, it ended with Joan Ferguson making her way to Greg Miller's home, begging for his help to help her to control her urges and to become a better person, and to be able to escape the country. So, this episode begins at Greg Miller's home. Greg's made some tea for himself and Joan. They sit down, and Ferguson admits to killing the woman the night before on the streets. She really wants to be good, and begs Greg Miller to help her to be good. She doesn't actually realise that when he went to go make the tea, he dialed the police and put his phone in his pocket. The police were already on the way. Back in H1, Ali, Boomer, Ruby, Rita, and new inmate Chrissy Latham all woke up to the sound of women yelling from their units. Zaina quickly rushed to H1 and warned Rita and Ruby that the women are going to hold a kangaroo court against Rita for being a cop, but they'll also be holding one against Lou for blowing up the prison. Will holds a staff meeting, explaining all staff must do double shifts to make sure none of the women get hurt following the closure of the protection unit, and the release of Lou Kelly into public. Linda is obviously unhappy by this, as she doesn't want to work overtime, and at the end of the meeting, she talks to one of the other officers and suggests that they have a work strike. This other officer seems very intrigued by the idea. In the dining hall, Lou Kelly is sat at a table all alone. Women, as they pass her, spit on her, and Ali and her crew are watching the situation unfold and are smirking to themselves, enjoying the fact that Lou Kelly has fallen. Lou loses it and stands up, yelling that all she ever did was help the girls and the women in the prison, and that they're all being completely disloyal to her. She storms off out of the room back to her unit. As she enters her cell, a smirk appears on her face, knowing that her plan is working. Later, in Will's office, Will, Vera, and Jake talk about Ferguson. Vera is adamant that Ferguson has changed and decides to stay on Ferguson's side, deciding to see the best in Ferguson. Will and Jake refuse to see this and tell Vera that during the bomb anyone could have saved her, and that she had a concussion that day, so that could have led to her think that Joan saved her when she didn't. Before Will could respond to this, Linda entered the room with a list of conditions and states that until all of the conditions on the list are met, all of the officers are going on strike. She then left the office and walked to the front of the building where all the officers were on strike. Back at Dr. Miller's house, Joan explains how she saved Vera's life in the explosion, and how she feels a deep connection with Vera. Dr. Miller tells Joan that he thinks that Vera is the only person who can stop Joan from doing bad things. He thinks of her as a constant between good and bad. He also explains that one more evil act, just simply one more, could push Joan over the edge to the point of no return, that she would become evil forever. Back in H1, Chrissy is alone with Rita, as the other girls are in the cafeteria. Chrissy has a shiv and is about to creep up on Vera and stab her, when a group of 5 women enter the unit quickly and take Rita outside, tying her to a post. 5 other women then come outside with Lou Kelly, and they tie her to a post too. Will is in his office trying to contact Steve Faulkner, the new GM, about the staff strike, and he's told that they'll have a meeting in a few days when he's back in town. Jake runs into the office without knocking and just tells Will that there is a lot of trouble about to go down in the yard. In the yard, a prisoner tells Rita and Lou that they both have a chance to explain why each of them deserves to survive. Rita explains that she isn't a cop anymore and that she's just a normal prisoner like everyone else. She states that she helped end the siege and she helped catch Lou, who blew up the prison, which has led to her saving multiple lives, and that she stopped Lou, who had caused a lot of deaths in the prison. Meanwhile, Will and Jake run to the front of the prison, where all the guards are striking, and beg Linda and the others to return as the situation is going on. He tells Linda that one way or another they'll make sure that all of the demands are met on the list, as they all seem fair. Next in the yard, Lou speaks and makes up a lie that no one was meant to get hurt in the bombing. She lies and says that she only meant to do a small explosion, small enough to knock down a wall and allow women to escape, and that she cares about all the women. That she cares about all the women, and that she couldn't tell anyone because she didn't want anyone, or in this case Rita, to ruin their escape plan. She then explained that it was Judy who was the one who made the bomb deadly, as she was a terrorist. All of the women begin to believe this lie, and they untie Lou, as they believe that they're on her side, but they don't believe Rita, so they begin to hang her. Just as it seems that Rita is about to die, all of the other officers and the guards rush into the yard, and they cut Rita down quickly, sending her to medical. In medical, Ruby visits Rita and begs her to request a prison transfer as it's not safe for Rita in Wentworth anymore. But Rita instantly refuses this idea, since she promised both of their dads that she would help protect Ruby no matter what. Later that night in the cafeteria, Lou stands up and reclaims her position as top dog. But Zaina stands up and explains that the women still don't trust Lou enough, that she still caused the death of numerous women, even if it wasn't intended. So Zaina stands up and challenges Lou Kelly for the top dog position. As a vote happens, it turns out that Zaina wins and has the most amount of dessert bowls at her table. Lou gets angry and storms out of the room. Back at Dr. Miller's, Joan can hear a load of sirens outside. She realises that she's been set up. As she feels betrayed, she tells Dr. Miller that clearly she can't be saved. She smashes her mug onto the ground and grabs a shard of glass. She walks up to Dr. Miller and slits his neck. The police rush in instantly, catching Joan in the act, and they restrain her, telling her that she's going back to Wentworth for a very long stay. So, that is episode 2, guys, called Assassination. Let me know what you thought of episode 2 in the comments below, and what you'd also like to see in later episodes. I've loved seeing all your feedback for episode 1, so I'd love to see all your feedback for episode 2. I'll try and get episode 3 up as soon as possible, because I'm really loving just coming up with these ideas for different episodes. Thank you for watching, and please make sure you subscribe and like the video if you enjoy it, and you want to be updated with the rest of the episodes. As we're now 2 episodes into the season, we've got 10 left. How will this season end, and what else will unfold?